Hello everybody. I'm Diane Schwierep, and this is a conversation with Nicky Bartley, and it's about a subject that it's quite, I suppose, it's very interesting to me. I find it very challenging, and this weekend I had a challenging um, episode. I really found myself pleasing and not saying what I really wanted. So I'm really looking forward to what Nicky has to say about it, and also perhaps and share a couple of stories of my own, and then open up the conversation to listen, to ask questions, comments, and the rest of it. So, Nicky, I'll pass the mic over to you, and we have spoken before about this, so I have an idea of what you. But I mean, I invited you so you can talk.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you invited me, I had no idea at the time what you just said. I'll have a think about what I'd like you to talk about, and I said, yeah, that's cool. And when you got back to me, it was, can you talk about people pleasing? It's like, oh yeah, I've been the biggest people pleaser for such a long time, so it's my favourite topic almost.
Mm.
And before I go into anything, not what I want to be clear on is that people pleasing isn't a bad thing. Like, it's neither good nor bad. There's nothing. It's a really natural thing to do as well, and all humans do it. And it looks to me like we're born to connect that way as well, to a certain extent, because it's what keeps us in relationships. The very fact that we only experience ourselves, we only experience who we are, we only experience love, and it looks like we're experiencing my partner or my mum or my sister or my friends, that shows me that we've got a predisposition to people please. It looks that we're experiencing them for a certain reason, and that's to keep us connected, to keep us in those relationships, so the human race will evolve and go on. Otherwise, none of us wouldn't bother having a relationship, would we, if we fully realised that it was always from us. So that's the precursor to the people-pleasing thing, because it's not a bad thing. It's just a useful thing to observe us doing. And I guess the next thing, talking about my own experiences, I bounced from being a huge people pleaser to a people pisser offerer. Like, I was really, I was either one or the other. I was never the in between. I would either be fully submissive to someone, or I would be fully defensive to someone. There was no in between with me for a long, long time. Very few people had an in between experience of me. And both of those came from insecurity. Both of those came from me not understanding that I was okay, and me not understanding that this is how we connect, and me not understanding that I was love, and me not seeing and feeling and experiencing oneness. And as soon as I had that, my first glimpse of how life works a few years ago, it steadily started to change, and I noticed the areas in my life that I was people pleasing, and it was from insecurity. It was almost always from insecurity. Even with my kids, even with my children and my partner, the people that I was the safest with, it was always about me. It was always about making someone else happy so that I was okay. And obviously, as time's gone on, I'm less likely to do that now, because I know it's impossible. I know that it's impossible for me to make someone else okay. And I know it's impossible for me to be okay simply because they're okay. or they're not okay. So, yeah, so I guess I'm curious, Diane. I mean, I do know where this came from for you, and I know that you've had a similar, and that's the other thing, like we've all got this in common. We've all got this propensity to people please. This isn't you, I think, yeah, I don't know if you don't mind me saying, but I know that you gave yourself a bit of a hard time when we discussed this the first time. It's like, oh, I've been doing that. It's like, yeah, we're all doing that.
I don't mind you saying it at all. Actually, it's true. I just realized in my rush to give you the mic, I didn't talk about how I experienced you in the beginning, which I think I don't know, am I interrupting you?
Yeah, no, go for it.
I think it would be interesting to talk about my relationship with you in the beginning when I first met you, because as I said in my description of Nicky, Nicky and Terry Broughton have had, my God, I've been speaking Dutch and English, so I use the wrong word. I keep looking for words all the time. It had a huge impact on my life. I met Fiona as well on the same online program. But what struck me with Nicky, I think, is that when I joined this online program, and I apologize if you've heard this story before, they kept telling me, show up, just show up, be you. And I couldn't understand what I was saying, because I felt that I was complaining all the time. Everything was outside in. Everything was, but even though I was afraid of writing down everything I was writing, I still wrote it down. And Nicky just kept saying, show up. At one point, I think there was this to and fro when I just wanted to tell Nicky, would you bloody, excuse my French, would you bloody shut up? She wasn't trying to please me. She was just, to me at that time, I thought she was being obnoxious. She wasn't being obnoxious. She was really, really, really loving me. And I think it helped me. It helped me in my path. It helped me to come to terms with a side of me, which I think I am a bit like you in certain instances, because people either hate me is a strong word, I don't know, or really like me, but I have no in between. I don't have in between. And this weekend, I saw it. I saw how ik ben echt mezelf tegengekomen, Marjanka. I really, how do you say that? I really came face to face with the Diane that is so, I wear my heart on my sleeve. So I don't even think, I just go, bleh. And I was observing myself. I was really observing how hard it is for me to not mince my words. At the same time, how hard it is for me to hear myself not mince my words, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. Yeah, I really like that analogy. And showing up is effortless. Showing up, and what my definition of showing up is taking off my filter. What you call wearing your heart on your sleeve. It's just knowing that everything I do, like, we're hardwired to think about ourselves, and we try not to. And it's like, I must be a good person, I must be nice to people. And when we fully realise that we're only ever doing that for ourselves, like, the reason that we're often nice to people is because it's in our interest to be. that is liberating, actually. And it's something that isn't easy to face. I know that. I know, I have people say to me, no, that's not true. I love being nice to people. It's like, yeah, and of course you do, because it benefits you.
And if I may, this weekend, as I said, I had a visitor who I loved having. But at the same time, I was really battling. I'll give a small story because it wouldn't be fair. It's about me, and I realized how much people pleasing is not about the person I'm with, but myself. It was so clear.
Yeah.
We went to visit a town, and we had difficulties finding a restaurant. And there were hundreds. We were spoiled for choice. And I suggested this place. I want to eat this. And I thought to myself, okay, I know what I want to eat. I know where I want to go, but I wasn't saying it.
Yeah.
And I wasn't saying it because she very kindly wanted to pay for everything, which I had huge difficulty with. I had huge difficulty with that, And I think we walked into 3 restaurants. We decided to sit and stay, but for some reason we left. So I ended up drinking, I don't know how many mint teas. Then finally she said, let's go to this restaurant. This is the one I wanted to go to. I thought, oh, yeah, we're going there. But I tried not to show my delight. And I was watching myself and just watching myself. And then we walked into this place. And she said, why don't we just sit here? And I took one look at it. I said, it's okay. But then I sat down and I started to feel physically ill because I wasn't saying the truth. I was feeling physically ill. And then I thought to myself, what are you doing? I woke up. What are you doing? I said, okay, I'm going to be honest, because I'm not being honest to you, and I'm not being honest to myself, and I'm not being honest to you, not because of you, because I don't want to look like an idiot, because I know I'm not liking myself. And that's when I said, oh my God, it never is about the other person. It's always about me. And it's hard to swallow. I'm so disgusted at it. And she said to me, you don't want to stay here? No. So then the reason I'm not telling you is not because of you, it's because I'm feeling bad about me. Right, let's get out of here. And we left.
Yeah. So much freedom in that, isn't there? There's freedom in seeing this, and there's no condemnation that, I'm a people pleaser. It's like, yeah, you're a people pleaser, like we all are. But it becomes less of an issue when we see it, because it takes more effort to people please than it does to be honest and authentic in who you really are. Our minds have to be busier to keep up that, how much stuff we have to try and remember about what someone else might want or like or think or be, or that's exhausting. And I was exhausted from it. I was exhausted. I was exhausted to the point of just wanting to die, and didn't realise that that's what I was suffering from, my people pleasing. And funnily enough, a side effect to me noticing this is that I still people please, but to a lesser extent, and only, like, I'm honest about it. Like, if something benefits me, I will do it. If something benefits you, I will do it if it also benefits me. And that might be, anything, if something benefits you and it's detrimental to me, I won't do it. Not anymore, whereas I used to. But seeing the myth and the misunderstanding behind people pleasing cleared that up for me. It's like, oh, I don't have to I don't have to. And people appreciate my honesty. They know where they stand more often with me than they used to. And I think this is what you came up against, if you don't mind me saying, Diane. It was like, it can feel a little bit tough, because when you confront someone who's being authentic, you're forced to either be authentic back or hide. And, you know, those feelings look like they're about me. But to me, that's a good thing. You know, I'm all for openness, and yeah, let's talk about that. And it's not a scary thing for me that happens. That happens to me a lot. It's why I'm, you know, I really don't take things personally anymore that I used to take personally.
I got very tired this weekend. Really tired. I think because it's the first time since you've said it. It's only ever, we are only thinking about ourselves. The first time I heard that, I thought, ew. And I've been digesting it since I heard it, you know, I've been processing it, thinking about it. It's like on the back burner, but it's there, it's very present. And it makes so much sense. And when I started, because this morning before she left, well, if you watch this, I mean, I don't want to offend anyone. It's not my intention. Actually, I think I always share because I believe that people can learn. Not because I want to offend or hurt people, just because I like learning. So I imagine maybe others want too. We spoke about it. I spoke about what was going through my mind. And I try to explain it always is always about me. And she looked at me kind of, I don't understand what you're talking about. And it is difficult to swallow, because we do think we're doing it for others. We're always doing it for ourselves. So
the beautiful thing about that, Diane, is when we realize it for ourselves, so we have the universal me, us, oneness, we. That's going on all the time. And then the personal, you know, the little me, has to put me first all the time. And so people pleases, people despises, like it's always looking at how it can look after me in life. And as soon as I realise it doesn't have to, because me's taken care of, like I'm always guided by me. It's all about me. That little me can just shut up, but like it just goes quiet. And that's when, you know, I realise that I'm always guided. Like, I don't have to think about me because I'm already always thinking about me. I don't have to put any extra. I don't have to be extra me. I need to make sure my needs are met. No, my needs are always met. I'm always doing that very naturally without thinking about it. And then that leaves more space for you.
I had this impression that I should always, okay, Fiona, I always had, I always had this impression that I had to think of others first. But now I'm starting to see the validity of this. And well, anyway, I have to think about it. So, Fiona.
Thank you. I just thought it would be really useful for you to describe how in that situation you were thinking about you rather than your friend, to put it into a bit of context.
I'm not following.
Are you talking to me, Fiona, or Diane?
To Diane, yeah, because you were talking about, you know, you were in the restaurant, you were really excited, it was the restaurant that you wanted to go to, you sat down at a table and then you decided you weren't really happy there, but you were sitting there feeling sick because you realized that you weren't happy there. And I thought you were going to say that you wanted to move table, but then you said you got up and left, and you said that you said to her that you didn't, you didn't want to people please. And I just wanted to understand, I guess, or have it clarified in that moment what it was that you were doing to please you.
Can I clarify that? Diane was trying to please a friend because she was under the impression if she pleased a friend, she'd be okay.
By sitting there and staying in the same restaurant.
Because I thought it's what she wanted to do, yes. What was happening to me was I thought she wanted to stay there, and I didn't want to. Oh my God, I'm confused. I didn't want to be there. I think Nicky explained. Pardon?
But it was the restaurant that you initially wanted to go to. And then
No, this wasn't the restaurant I initially wanted to go to. This was a restaurant that we came across.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I misunderstood, perhaps.
That's fine. Okay, that's why I couldn't understand the question.
I'm going to go back to what I've just pointed out. It's really basic. It's really simple. What we do when we people please, it's I'll please you because if you're happy, I'm happy.
Or I think.
That's the unconscious train of thought we've got. That's what we're following, that feeling. My feelings rely on you, your feelings being okay. Well, we know that can't be possible. That cannot be possible. My feelings being, well, not you. My feelings don't even know if I'm okay. My feelings only know if I think I'm okay. But my well-being cannot possibly rely on you feeling okay, because your feeling okay isn't even telling you whether you're okay. It's telling you whether you think you're okay. There's just no connection. There's no logic behind that. And yet we so unconsciously live our lives from that place. We say yes, we say no, we make decisions from that insecurity, from that insecure feeling. When we realise that I don't, my well-being is already taken care of. We don't have to make decisions from insecure places. And so saying no to something that we wouldn't usually say no to, because we'd usually think, oh, I should say yes to this because such and such would be unhappy and I don't want to make her unhappy. You start saying yes to more, you start saying no to more, you start saying yes to less, you start saying no to less. And it really changes the dimensions of your life. That's basically people pleasing in a nutshell, and why it's a good thing and a bad thing and a no thing, really. It's just a useful thing to see how much of your life is taken by people pleasing. I can't tell you how many times people say to me in a day, can I have a conversation? Now there was a time that I would have tried to fit all of those conversations in, because if I don't, I'm a rubbish coach, and if I don't, they won't come back to me for another conversation. Managing people's feelings from my own insecurity was standard. That's how I came. That's how it looked like, that's what I had to do. And I did that for years and years, and I did it in very subtle ways. I don't think there's anyone here that's actually been my overcoming overthinking workshop, is there? So I run an overcoming overthinking workshop, and this is something that we talk about a lot is people pleasing and compromise and stuff like that, because it's traditionally something that women tend to do, like, more than men. Now men don't do it, but they also don't do it from an insecure place. Their reasons for people pleasing is from insecurity. Their reasons for not people pleasing is from insecurity. And so this isn't about, is people pleasing right or wrong? This is about, is it coming from an insecure place, or is it coming from the place that you know that you're okay?
I really love this. I really love this. I think Vanessa wants to ask a question. Vanessa, is really great to see you.
And you. Lovely to see you. I wanted to just say exactly what we're saying. Massive people pleaser. I think everybody is really. But for me, I was taught as a child that I couldn't look after myself and that I never would be able to. So for me, I would please my mother and make her happy and do everything to please her, because it was safety. And I think, like what we've said, a lot of people pleasing is from being insecure and from safety, like for me. But the thing is, now, as I'm an adult, I'm now called that I have a dependent personality, and that it's a problem, that needs to be sorted out in therapy, and that it's a massive problem. But is it not just, it's just people pleasing, isn't it? From not feeling safe in life.
Yeah. And thanks for that, Vanessa. I love it, because I can really relate. I'm going to tell you something. When I was 22, I got raped because I was a people pleaser. Because I was walking down the street and this guy stopped his car and said, do you want to lift Nicky? And I knew, I don't, there's psychic moments. I was like, don't get in this car, Nick. And then I looked at him and he says, come on, get in the car. It was a guy I knew. And I really didn't want to be that person that said no, I wouldn't get in the car. And I got in the car. And I've got numerous, Vanessa, like stories like that, where I think, wow,
Oh God, I'm so sorry.
Oh no, it's absolutely fine. I've got, like, I think we can all relate to, maybe not that, but different ways in which we've compromised what we know inside, like that feeling inside that says no or yes. We override it with this people-pleasing capacity that we have. And so, I mean, and then there's it isn't that people-pleasing is bad. It's just that if it comes from insecurity, it's likely to be overriding common sense. It certainly was for me that day, and I've got hundreds of stories where it has to. It was overriding my common sense.
It does, like you say, like for me, I've moved on. It's moved on from my mother, which went on for many years. I didn't leave home till I was like 35. And then it's just transferred on to my husband. And so I put myself second all the time, and I always have, because I'm frightened, because this deep insecurity that I cannot take care of myself, and that the other person will leave me if I don't do everything that they want me to. And, you know, I've been lucky. I found a husband who's amazing and just does everything for me, and, you know, would put the moon on a stick if he could, you know. But that makes me feel guilty, because people pleasing again, because this isn't the life that I would have chosen for myself if I hadn't been racked with insecurity and people pleasing.
Can I say something? So the way you've looked after yourself, Vanessa, is people pleasing.
Yeah, it's the only way I could.
Well, that tells me that that was 100% wisdom.
But it just makes me feel like I use people.
And to some extent we all do. This is what I'm saying. Like, we're always only ever thinking about ourselves, thankfully. We're designed to. It's part of our design. It's part of our innate design to do that so that we stay alive.
Yeah, but some people just, like you say, we all do that. But some people are just so insensitive, and they don't feel guilty. They just get on with their lives and go getters and all the rest of it. And then the rest of us are just, like we just said, just so overly, like, I know I'm so overly sensitive that I put everybody above my feelings, which is what Diane said about feeling sick. I know that all the illnesses I have, chronic illnesses, are all because I don't put myself first. I don't put my feelings first. And I know that that's creating all this disease inside of me. But I just don't know how to be any other way.
Well, I think you have been putting yourself first in some ways, because the reason you've been people pleasing is because you thought you had to survive.
Sorry, what was that you said?
The reason you've been people pleasing is
Yeah.
because you thought you had to survive.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, yeah.
So you have been putting yourself first.
But I just feel so guilty about it.
Well, let's deal with the feeling after. But on a practical level, can you see that you have been putting yourself first?
Yeah.
Now that shows me that 100% you're a survivor. You're a born survivor.
Thank you.
And this is what I'm pointing to, like, we do it really naturally. We do it without even trying. So we don't even need to try and put ourselves first. We just need to realise that that's what we're born to do. We're always going to do it. So I don't want you to stop doing that. This isn't about becoming selfless. This is about realising that we're born survivors. And life is going to keep on taking us there to that place when we don't realise that we can deal. Life is going to keep showing us we can. And that's what it's doing for you. Now the feeling is as a result of you not realising that, that's all. And the more you don't realise it, the louder the feeling gets. Like, you're safe. That's what it's telling you, basically. I've got you taken care of. I'm going to make sure you think about yourself. And, you know, and you're just not seeing it. And you like, I didn't see it. I thought I had to do, I really thought I had to be extra. I just got to try harder than everyone else.
Yeah, no, I always felt that I just had to be everyone else's happiness.
Yeah.
You know, which is what I did for my mum. So I just did that for everybody else. And I'm just happy for everybody else, because that's, like you say, that's what's helped me to survive.
So you give yourself a big love for that. Like, it's all about you, Vanessa, and that's totally okay. Thank you for that. No, thank you. And this is what I really want everyone to see. We're geared to do this. So we can take our foot off the pedal, knowing that we're geared to survive. Our higher self takes care of it. And that's what it's done with you, Vanessa. So thank you for sharing. That's beautiful.
Thanks.
Thank you, Vanessa.
Thank you.
It's really great to see you. Really great to see you. I don't know about you guys, but someone who I've always considered myself, I'm repeating myself, who pretty much says what I think. But now I've noticed that I'm being more and more in my face, not in anyone, in mine. And I'm finding it uncomfortable. But at the same, I'm finding it uncomfortable. And these 4 days which I had with this beautiful woman who chose to spend time with me, even then I realized that I wasn't clear in how there wasn't a clear agenda, is not the right word. So it just kept leaking out into the days. I just saw it unfold, and I thought, it is so subtle. But I don't want to talk about me. I'm really curious, and if that's okay with Nicky, this was a beautiful share. Open it to any questions, and because I'm easy, I blab a lot. So, Fiona.
I'm really curious about something that Nicky said in her live stream about relationships, and you asked a question, Diane, about pleasing. I can't remember exactly who it was you were pleasing, but I should see the parallel. And Nicky said to you at the time that that, you know, because I think at the time you were thinking that people pleasing was always a bad thing, and Nicky pointed out that it wasn't always a bad thing, because you were just like loving the hell out of somebody. And that was a question that I had when Nicky first talked to me about this like, you're always doing something for yourself. And I was just reflecting at the time about, I've just spent 2 weeks kind of being there for my aunt in hospital. And as far as I was concerned, I was doing it all for her. And I still am not, I am loving the hell out of her, basically. And I loved every moment. And I found a part of me that could be really super patient and sit and feed somebody, and, that I didn't really know was there. I had no idea I could be that good a carer. But I was just loving the hell out of her. And I guess I don't quite see how that's about me.
Well, we've got big Fiona, who's God.
Yeah, right. I'm not sure about that one, but anyway.
Well, that might be what's going on then. So we've got big Fiona, who's God, who's all things, who's me too, and who's her aunt too. And when those two connect, that's what you're experiencing. You're experiencing that universal place that we all know deep down, called love. You're experiencing the source of all things. And that's what's happening when we're loving someone, like really loving someone. And then we have like personal Fiona, who's also all things, but she doesn't realise it all of the time. And that personal Fiona will be like personal Nicky, like little Nicky, who doesn't realise it all the time either. And so lives in that insecure place, that feeling of guilt and pain and heartache and distress and anxiety and worry. And that little Nicky loves people to make that pain go away, not realising that that doesn't make the pain go away. And so they're both love. One's from insecurity and one's from source. And I know that the easiest one is the one that's from source, the one that's from who we really are. Which I'm guessing is what you've experienced this last 2 weeks with your aunt. It's beautiful. And one of the side effects is seeing that it's all about me. If it's all about me, okay, that means it's all about you too, because we are that one thing. I'm not saying that you won't think of anyone else, because I can't think of me really without thinking of you. And the other 7.6 billion humans who are all having an experience here on Earth too.
So slightly not penny dropping at the moment, is that when I'm thinking about my aunt, then I'm thinking about me, because we are one in the universal. Yeah, okay, I see that.
That's what I'm experiencing, yeah.
But when I'm personal me, it's because I'm thinking about her, because I don't want to feel the pain of not helping her out. Yeah, okay.
And both are okay and natural. Like we go between the both. Like
I can totally see that I wouldn't want to feel the pain of not helping her out. But I don't feel like that was my primary motivation. I can see that might exist, but I really did it because I wanted to do it for her. And everything I did, it was really interesting to see how many steps ahead I was in I'm doing this because I've actually taken an unconscious thought about what she might like, and I'm doing it for her. You know, she might like this, or I guess she might feel better if someone did this for her. And, you know, I mean, we kind of know that that's not possible, but to her, it probably, you know, I just wanted her to feel loved and nurtured, that somebody was there. And, you know, we were rewarded because she did make big leaps and bounds in her recovery, which is great. And I'm sure it makes a difference to have people around you who you know and who love you in terms of recovery, because hospital's dead boring if you're just sitting there on your own and no one much is talking to you.
Yeah. And this is why I'm saying that, you know, that higher self, the reason that we really don't have to worry about putting ourselves first and thinking about ourselves is because the higher self is all things. So ultimately, like, there's no form in that. There's no need to do anything with that. It will automatically love. That's the default, is love. And then our personal self thinks that, in order for that person to be all right, I've got to show them love. because if they're okay, I'm okay. You know, so it isn't that one's right and the other's wrong. It's just that this is how we operate. We're either in the personal or we're more into the universal. I don't think we're ever fully in the universal. I don't think that's possible while we've got a personal thing going on. But, you know, we're certainly closer. Or at least I'm not that enlightened yet, anyway.
Well, I guess we are there. It's like, you know, it's like there is no outside in. There is only inside out. It's just that we don't see it. So I guess we always are in the universal. We're just not seeing it because the personal is something we very rarely drop 100%.
Yeah. We just get a glimpse of that universal, that power, that source that we are.
Yeah.
You know, I was recording a module for my Dare to Dream program over the weekend, and it was about labels. You know, things that we're always labeling things, aren't we? We're always putting labels and names, and it's really useful. We've got language, we need to communicate, because that's another way that Mother Nature guarantees our species continues on into the future, you know, is by giving us language to communicate with. And so it's really natural that we have these labels. And I was thinking about this, and I recorded one of the modules, and how easily we say, you know, I am loving, I am kind, I am angry. And we think we are the label, that we think we are angry, we think we are selfish, we think we are jealous. And what we don't notice is we're not any of that. We're that I am. You know, we're that I am. We're all that.
Actually, if I may, Fiona, no, something's coming up for me, which is exactly the opposite. Not exactly the opposite. It just occurred to me that if someone tells me no, because we're talking about people pleasing, saying yes and we mean no, for example. I've been told.
Or any combination, Diane. There's not a rule for this. You'll make the rule up according to what you believe in that moment.
No, I'm thinking of the times when I was told no and they gave me the biggest present in my life. And at that time, I didn't see them as loving me. When in actual fact, they were. And it happened to me recently. I found myself in a situation. I'm not going to get into the details because if this person happens to watch. And I thought to myself, bloody hell, I'd much rather if somebody comes up to me and tells me, listen, just leave. So liberating. So to me, it was a gift. And when I was in it, I thought, oh my Lord. But now when I think, right, Pechav, hat off to you. Hat off. Even though you were, whatever emotional state you were in, you were capable of saying, go. 6 years ago, I was told to go. And good for you. So, you know, it works both ways. They were taking care of themselves and then they were taking care of me too. It just occurred to me. I don't know if it makes any sense.
It does make perfect sense. It means that, you know, we don't have to worry about taking care of ourselves. It's like Vanessa's just said, you know, we really don't have to worry about taking care of ourselves. We're born to do that. It just means I don't have to think about how I'm going to take care of myself tomorrow and what I'm going to say to my client tomorrow. And, you know, all of that stuff that I would give myself to do, usually, because my life depends, like my tomorrow depends on it. I don't have to deal with. Because in every single moment, I'm designed to deal with it. Moment to moment to moment to moment to moment. And that is the only way I can deal with it.
Patty, I'm just looking at you and I'm wondering what you're thinking, but please feel free to say no. Yeah, amigo, please.
I am loving this conversation. I just love this idea. What I was thinking just before you asked me, Diane, was about the conversation I had at the Addiction Treatment Center yesterday, where we were talking about Father's Day and the idea of giving up their children. There were 3 people in the room, 3 of about 20, that had given up their children for adoption because of their drug addiction and their jail time. And in a way, when I was thinking, like, those folks, those people could have kept their children, kept, whatever that means. But for them, and that would have been people pleasing. That would have been society's saying, and one of the other guys said, well, why don't those people just keep your children and do what you're supposed to do and raise them? And he eventually, his mind slowed down about that too, as all these other people popped up and said, yeah, I gave up my son for adoption. I gave up my son for adoption. I am adopted. Do you use that word, adopted? or you give up your parental rights? And I just, that is the ultimate way. Wow. Just wow. Now, clearly those people did it because they're addicts and drug dealers, and they recognize that having their son in the back seat of the car while in the middle of a drug bust is not ideal. But their egos could have said, my son, I'm going to raise him. Life sucks. We're going to do this together. And that's what I was thinking. It's like, wow, we're all the same, regardless of our circumstances.
Yeah.
I'm just loving this conversation.
It's perfect. What a gorgeous example, Patty. Thank you. And it's that, one thing that kept and keeps on, like this is still happening for me, is I don't live by society's norms as much anymore and other people's expectations, because I don't even live by my own expectations, because I know my expectations are little me having something to say about something as if I'm not already taken care of. And like I have a motto: the rules are, there are no rules. And I very much live by that, and I use that as my compass. That I just know that little me doesn't have to know, because higher me knows, and every single moment what I can, can't, will, won't do. And that means that I don't go chasing other people's expectations and happiness to try and secure my own quite as often. And that would be a brilliant example, putting your children up for adoption because you just know. I mean, that's pure wisdom, taking care of what's there in the moment. Beautiful.
Agreed. They one guy had pictures of his children with him in a book, and he was very open and honest about how they were having a better life without him, and I just thought that was brilliant and beautiful.
Now that's love. That's love with no conditions. Wow.
Thank you for sharing that with us, Patty. Am I on mute? No, I'm not. I thought I was talking to myself. Okay, I'm wondering if...
I'm just curious, Patty, about... sorry for butting in, but I'm just really curious about... Because it occurs to me that also there could be people there who might say, I gave up my child so that they could have a better life, but they might not actually really feel or believe that.
Can I just interject, Fiona? Because feelings have got nothing to do with truth, if you're basing them on a belief.
Mm.
And this is really what this webinar is about. Like when we're living by our feelings, thinking they're telling us something that they're not, then we're less likely to make great decisions. You know, we're less likely to people please rather than, you know, we're people pleasing from insecurity rather than from knowing.
If I wasn't...
It occurs to me that, you know, I mean, I coached a lady who had her children taken off her because of her drug dealing partner. And I didn't get the impression she wanted that to happen and that she gave them ease.
Well, want is about a feeling, Fiona. If you want something, if you desire something, you're chasing a feeling.
Okay, yeah.
That's got nothing to do with truth or oneness or knowing that you're well, because you wouldn't be chasing a feeling if you really knew that you were well.
If I were typing on Facebook, I would use boom, boom, boom. For me, it's so... I just forget this, and you just reminded me of it. If we're chasing a feeling, if it's about want, then it's not source. It's such a...
And what's lovely about that is she did it anyway, knowing that, you know, it isn't that she wanted it. She wanted her children. But she knew that what you know, that she couldn't provide.
I don't know. I kind of got the impression that it was more she didn't have much choice in the matter and they took her children away.
Well, that might be true. But it's still the same thing. I mean, your question was about, so Patty has talked about how 3 guys voluntarily gave up their kids. So that they weren't chasing a feeling, they were doing the opposite of chasing a feeling. They were being guided by, regardless of feelings, this is what needs to happen for them kids to be safe.
Sorry, I'm just, there's something in me that really wants to play devil's advocate here.
Oh, there's something, let me suggest there's something in you that just doesn't see it.
Well, quite possibly. But then that's also the point of this, isn't it?
Yeah.
Having a discussion.
Well, I tell you,
it's like...
it isn't me. Let me be clear, because I aren't here to people please either. This is how it works.
But it occurs to me that it's possible that somebody was chasing their feelings at the time and said, take the kid away, I can't handle it, my life will be better if they're not in my life. And then later in life they sit there and think, I made the best decision to give them up, which is a kind of change of point of view depending on a different day.
Yeah.
But they could easily have been chasing their feelings when they gave the child up.
Yeah.
Well, Nikki, basically what you're saying is, it's like that graph you pointed to: personal, feeling, universe. It's that simple.
We bounce between the two, and that's how we live. You know, this isn't like, details are irrelevant here. And we get caught up on the detail. Like, I can really hear you, Fiona, asking those questions about detail. And they might look important, but they're not. Like, you could swap any of those details for like any scenario. Like, but you know, there's billions of scenarios going on in this moment with billions of people. It's all the same thing. It's, where are we? Are we in the universal? Are we in the personal? And the more in the, well, we're always in the personal, but we sometimes can experience that we're universal. We can sometimes get a glimpse of that. And when we do, we're less likely to people please from an insecure place. And so that's why I started this webinar with, it really doesn't matter whether you people please or not, you're going to do both. This isn't about people pleasing is wrong, and I think you're maybe making it to mean that it might be wrong or it might be right, whichever. I'm saying it's neutral, that you're geared to people please. You're going to go between both. There's no escaping it, as far as I know. Death. You know, but whilst we're living, breathing on this earth, then we're gonna be doing it to some extent. The extent to which we do it is the extent to which we see we're doing it, and the extent to which we think we need to do it to make ourselves happy. And you know, you can people please and you can not people please and still get the same result. So this is the thing as well. If you're people pleasing for a result, like if you're wanting or desiring something, trying to get results, it's usually quite hard work. So I'm suggesting you can get the same result by not people pleasing too. Right, but the choice is still yours. You know, you've always got that choice to do it when you know you've got the choice to do it. Is that making sense? Is that hitting home, Fiona, or is there still some?
No, that makes sense. I guess I was just testing some different situations.
Yeah.
You know, the answer wasn't coming to me immediately, and I just wanted to sort of clarify that, I guess, and just test the situations.
Yeah, I get that. It's really easy for me to do that as well and try and apply content to this. Scenarios, you know, and we're giving scenarios, aren't we? You know, I've got some massive ones. I mean, for years, I only had relationships with men I didn't fancy. Not intentionally, it's just that they were the men that I'd say yes to. Am I saying this on camera? But, you know, that was really innocent. They were the men that I knew no one wanted because they weren't very nice people. And I felt sorry for them, and I thought I would feel better if they felt better. Can you see the mess like I raveled with this misunderstanding? So we can get into content. And what I didn't realise was that this is all taken care of. I didn't need to work all of that out. And if I'd have realised that I was okay, and that by them being okay, that wouldn't make me any more okay, that would have saved me a hell of a lot of time and effort and black eyes. Yeah, so it's less about the content and more about just seeing what we're doing, just knowing that we can do less of it when we know we're doing it. And that's where the unit, like you experienced with your aunt, that's where that is, that feeling, that real deep love, that real deep understanding and compassion and connectedness to someone, to another being is there.
Nicky, is it fair to say that, were you finished?
Yeah.
Is it fair to say, because what I'm seeing for myself is this, I've become very aware, I'm really observing it in myself, and finding that, okay, Patty, love to you too. It was great having you. Thank you. That I'm finding myself, I'm observing it and I'm not liking it. But I'm also slow, and I'm now with this conversation, I'm saying it's not bad. It's neither good nor bad, it's neutral. And I will later shift to, and I'm already feeling that I'm going there, to shift to, okay, the more I'm aware of it, the more I can function from a place of love and not people pleasing. And it will kind of, I will shift naturally. Is that kind of fair to say? Is that?
Yeah, that's my experience, Diane, anyway. And it's kind of love, peace, clarity, they're all our natural positions when we are not working on ourselves. And we only work on ourselves when we don't realise that we don't have to. And people pleasing is working on ourselves. That's a version of working on ourselves, is I'm okay if you're okay, so I'll do this when I've got 1,000,001 other things to be doing instead. And if that's all we've got, that guarantees our survival. That is really okay. It isn't saying don't do that. It's just showing you what's going on.
Is it a bit like the nail in the head?
Yeah, I love that video. It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah. Okay. Vanessa, you have another question. Do we have time for another question, Nicky?
I certainly do.
Great. Go ahead.
Sorry, you had to unmute yourself. It's not a question. I just wanted to say that you two are just so fucking wise. And I really feel honoured to be able to speak to you when I do. You're both so, so wise.
Oh, Vanessa, I'm really glad you came into my life.
And the things you're saying, like the statements, it's like, oh my God. It really hit the nail on the head. But, both of you, whenever I've heard you speak before, I've listened to you, Nicky, on like YouTube, some of your videos, and whenever Diane speaks, it's like such wisdom. And I just feel so honoured to be able to speak to you. That's just what I wanted to say. Thank you.
The honour is mine.
Vanessa.
Okay.
Yeah, likewise.
I have a great teacher. Very great teacher. But I won't mention her name because otherwise she'll say, no, you bring the magic to the coaching. And I love her to bits. I think this would be a good place to stop unless you have more comments, you have a question. I'm fine with that. It's really great to see you, Loretta.
I've just got one comment, and it's just know that you're going to do both things. Like you're going to people please, and you're going to realize that you don't have to too. And like we're all in this together. We're all in the same boat. We're all doing it. I catch myself doing it all the time. And it's just a reminder. When I catch myself doing it, it's like, oh, you're just forgetting who you really are. That's all. That's all. And we can go easy. We don't have to stop doing it. That isn't the aim of this. There's no like, let's stop people pleasing. It's about let's just know that we're geared to do that.
And as a last note for me, I've been wanting to invite Nicky to a conversation for a very long time. And one thing that strikes me about Nicky is that she comes from a place of love, like we all do, but I've really felt it. I have really felt it. So I think I have nothing more to say. It was really great seeing you, Fiona. I love your butterflies. If you want to add something or...
Fiona, actually, your time in Wales has really had a good impact. You do look gorgeous.
Oh,
You look rested. You look rested.
Well, I don't know. I was awake at 4 this morning thinking, what the hell's going on here? I've got this subconscious, crappy, forward-thinking worry going on about going to work, and it's still only 4 o'clock in the morning.
That's just you thinking you've got to take care of yourself, not realising that you're always taking care of yourself.
Yeah. I'm like, no, I just want to go to sleep.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah, I did sit in the sun a bit.
Did you?
Yeah.
Good.
And I did have another experience that I'll tell you about another time.
Ladies, Nicky, Mayanka, Fiona, Vanessa, Mimi, PC. PC, I have no... I mean, it sounds odd to me calling you a PC. It's really nice to have you here. Ryan, Loretta, I think... Nicky, shall we stop it here? Is it fine here? I think.
That's fine. Thank you so much, all of you, for just for being here, showing up, and listening to me bang my chops. Thank you.
What?
Listening to me bang my chops.
Okay, now maybe we can watch the end of England, Tunisia. Hey, it was great having you all. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye.